You know, Joe Mixon right now is being drafted at least here in the 6th round. In many cases, if it's not a super flex draft, Joe Mixon is being drafted in at least best ball, in like late 4th round, early 5th round. I personally prefer Alvin Kamara over Joe Mixon. They do bring in Nick Chubb, and I'm not exactly sure what to expect from Nick Chubb. I don't necessarily think Chubb is going to, be the old guy that we saw. But I do think it's pretty telling that they bring in, a veteran like Nick Chubb behind Joe Mixon after they already drafted Woody Marks. I think there is some concern. Mixon did not practice involuntary OTAs this offseason so far. Wasn't there in minicamp. And was seen in a walking boot. It's not because he's necessarily holding out. So I do have some concern for Mixon, and I'm pretty much fading him. I haven't really taken him anywhere. I'll go to you, Hoff, first. What's your thoughts on Mixon? Is he a guy that you are drafting? Have you drafted him at all? Like, what are you looking at when you see his cost right now?
I've drafted him, but I wholeheartedly get the concern that you bring up. Like, for example, I'd probably rather have Alvin Kamara in that spot, but I at the same time, I do think Joe Mixon did great last year. I think that he obviously had the injury. It's very simple to say if you take away the injury, but he was doing incredible. He did well when he came back too. The cost is a little rough, especially with the offensive line there with Houston. But so I have him. I'm not sure how many shares I'll have of him this year as opposed to last year. But yeah, I'm more in line with a Alvin Kamara spot.
Yeah, and I'll give you the floor, Ernie, in a second, just because Hoff, you're picking now, and the Ernie you're going to pick in the next two. When I look at Mixon, right, opportunity share wise, last year 77.7% of the total carries plus targets in the offense went to Mixon. That was 5th in the NFL for all the running backs last year. I feel like that's going to come down, right? I just don't see them giving him at his age unless you're going to sit there and I've said it plenty of times, right? Where older running back on a deal that, he's not going to be there much longer. Maybe they burn him into the ground and just get whatever they can out of him left. But again, when you look at what he did last year, 4.2 yards per carry was actually the best yards per carry he's had since 2018 behind a really bad offensive line. And his average defenders in the box was 6.8, which was number 3 in the NFL. So defenses were really stacking the box against them because I think they were trying to pressure, CJ Stroud, which happened a lot. He was also number 2 on stuffed runs last year. 58 of his runs were stuffed, which was 23.7%. So pretty much 1 out of every 4 carries for Joe Mixon last year, he was stuffed, which is not great. And stuff just means, stopped at the line of scrimmage or in the backfield, which again, not really his fault. Breakaway run rate, 11th in the NFL per player profiler. Explosive rating was number 10 in the NFL. So, he still has juice, right? He's still a player that has some wiggle to him. Again, my concern is really just the fact that do they give him, that much of a workload again? And they also brought in some more weapons in this offense in Jaden Higgins. They brought in Christian Kirk. They brought in Jalen Noel. Is Mixon going to live up to that cost? And I find myself clicking guys like Alvin Kamara. Ernie, do you have anything else that you want to share on Mixon?
Yeah, no, I think you guys hit on the head. I personally, he's a fade for me. He's 28-year-old running back, so he's getting up there. I think you do got to kind of lean on the analytics a little bit here. And Joe Mixon, like, he's deceivingly injury prone. I think Joe Mixon is a solid RB2. He gets the volume. He's on a good offense, but that O line isn't that good. So I think that's why he kind of runs into that stuffing stat that you were saying. So,
Yep.
I mean, I just think where he's going, you could, spend your capital on just way better players. You know what I mean? Like, you
Sure.
could probably get, like, I wouldn't be shocked. Like, this is kind of crazy to say, but like, I wouldn't be shocked if like you saw like a Jordan Mason have a better year than him. You know what I mean? Or um Who else is going after him? Like,
You have RJ Harvey is going after him.
I'll take
Kenneth
RJ Harvey
Walker
over him all
right
day.
around him. Yeah, Caleb Johnson.
I mean, dude,
It's
RJ Harvey and
big
Kenny Walker for me is I will because I know that if Kenny Walker plays 17 games, he's a top 10 running back. Like I'm gonna take. I know he's injury prone. Like I'm gonna take that gamble over Joe Mixon because like Joe Mixon's probably gonna get hurt anyway. So I might as well go for the upside there. But yeah, that's why it's just like, dude, like he's a good player, like but I'm personally not targeting him. I just think where he's going, you could just get better value.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. Hoff, do you have anything else that you want to add on Mixon before we move on?
Not really. No, not really. I will just say I think there's more consistent production than what we saw when he was with the Bengals, but I do think that there is cause for concern, especially with the price point.
Yeah.